The James Webb Telescope has been conceptualized for over a decade. Its fans are happy to hear that it has finally been launched into the dark abyss known as space. It was launched last Christmas, and it began its deployment immediately after it entered space. We hope that this telescope will allow us to learn a lot more about both our existence and the possibility of extraterrestrial life. Since the launch of this $10 billion telescope, its fans have asked non-stop about its progress and whether it will really do what it set out to do. Join us as we explore all the possibilities of this telescope and give some insight on how this telescope will finally make terrifying new discoveries. But don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell.
Rates quite a bit, but we have to remember that the space environment is not like it is here on Earth. We have heat transfer process.
If you're interested in space travel, you know that there are a lot of limitations to this particular concept, one of which is the ability to view planets and stars beyond our solar system. Before the James Webb Telescope, it was even a challenge to view events occurring past Mars due to the absence of light. Astronomers, engineers, and astronauts have dreamed of being able to see past our solar system. Now, the James Webb Telescope is capable of making that possible. For those who don't know, the James Webb Telescope was designed to be the largest telescope ever created. It was launched on December 25th last year from the ESA space site in Kourou in French Guiana via an Arianespace Ariane 5 rocket. If this telescope fulfills its purpose, it will allow us to take a look at the events of the Big Bang. Imagine seeing how the events occurred during the Big Bang, which happened as far back as 200 million years ago. We will be able to view the first galaxies born out of the Big Bang and have a look at any new planets or stars developing. This would be a phenomenal achievement and would be such good news for science.
The James Webb Space Telescope's journey to unfold the universe. The past month has been so exciting for Webb, from the breathtaking launch in French Guiana on Christmas Day to the 2-week unfolding of this.
The telescope's journey spans over 1 million miles to a gravitationally stable point in space. Arriving at that point in space will keep it from leaving the solar system and will keep it stable enough to zoom in on several other galaxies. The telescope will then land on a second gravitationally stable point named L2. L2 is a position in space that is in close proximity and alignment with Earth and is directly opposite of the Sun. At this point, it will be able to orbit the Sun even more closely. Interestingly, other telescopes have used this particular area at several points in time and have captured mind-blowing information. If it gets to this point as planned, it will use the gravitational stability of that point, as well as minimum fuel, to stay in perfect alignment with the Sun, Moon, and the Earth. Its successful launch from the Earth took about 31 minutes, and scientists, engineers, and fans from all over the world cheered all the way through. We know you might be wondering how it is going to survive the full force of the Sun, so let's take a look at that.
Arrived at its final destination. Today, we're going to be talking about what's next for Webb as it embarks on its mission to uncover more.
The telescope's designers understood this problem and built a 5-layer, 70-foot-long sun shield. It keeps the equipment of the telescope cool and prevents the telescope itself from getting destroyed by the heat of the sun. The sun shield has been checked and given the okay by multiple engineers and scientists from around the world due to its ability to protect itself from temperatures of up to 250 degrees Fahrenheit. If you're watching this video, you have probably noticed that the telescope is way bigger than what a rocket can fit. Because of that, it is designed in such a way that it can be folded up and safely transported in a rocket. According to NASA, opening it up has been one of the most sophisticated processes they have ever undertaken.
The James Webb Space Telescope will perform its science mission while orbiting a location in space 1 million miles away from Earth, called the Second Lagrange Point, or L2 for short.
The telescope will explore many things, but the most important of all will be the search for life on other planets. Webb will conduct in-depth research on the planets in our solar system and other planetary systems. It will also aim at detecting the presence of possible extraterrestrial bodies. Furthermore, the team's scientific equipment is capable of analyzing a wide range of celestial bodies, including the atmospheric composition of distant exoplanets. NATHALIE, an astrophysicist who does communications for James Webb, said what they are looking for, the Holy Grail, are biosignatures. That is, signs of extraterrestrial life. They are talking about finding signs of biological activity or the signature of certain molecules. Now the real question arises, will the James Webb Telescope be able to detect artificially produced gases in outer space, thus discover intelligent extraterrestrial life? No matter how good the telescope is or how much we want this, it would be quite difficult to get hold of these kinds of gas particles, especially because those existed probably years before now. The concept of alien life is unbelievably interesting, and any discovery will be revolutionary. So what's next?
L2 is a point where the gravitational influences of the Earth and Sun and motion of the orbit combine to create an equilibrium. As Webb orbits L2, the telescope stays in line with Earth as it travels.
The telescope has arrived at its destination last week. The deputy project manager at NASA's Space Flight Center said in a conference that the team will now spend its time aligning the 18 mirror segments in order to successfully form one giant mirror. Beryllium was used to produce these mirrors because it is a lightweight metal and it is fairly resistant to the sun's rays. After it has been fully unfolded and assembled, its different compartments will be turned on.
In line with Earth as it travels around the Sun. The telescope's optics and instruments need to be kept very cold to be able to clearly observe the very faint signals of very distant objects.
The engineers believe that this might happen between 7 to 14 days. The distance from the sun ensures that enough darkness is around the telescope for the heat-seeking infrared studies to be performed. These infrared telescopes will allow the telescope to view distant galaxies, stars, and planets in a way other telescopes never have been able to.
Refers to the angles the telescope can move while staying in the shadow of the sun. Each of Webb's instruments has its own field of view. The field of view is the area of the sky.
Detailed plans and concepts for what is going to be discovered are essential justification for the expense of building an ambitious, game-changing telescope like this one. But there will be discoveries that no one can anticipate. When Hubble was launched, the thought of exoplanets was largely fantasy, yet studying exoplanets became one among its major tasks. We wonder what surprising science awaits us with the James Webb Telescope. The James Webb Telescope is the most powerful telescope ever created, and it has already started breaking records. Imagine what it will find: exoplanets, the events of the Big Bang, or maybe even Klingons?
Area of the sky an instrument can observe. Webb's fine steering mirror is moved so that an object can be observed by the different instruments.
Yep, that's all for today's episode, folks. And if you liked the video, make sure to hit the thumbs up button. And if you are looking for more interesting content, then hit the subscribe button for future updates.